Happy Wednesday, all! Thank you for joining me tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where I make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I am here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's a time where we can relax and craft together for about an hour. And I work on projects all the way through from beginning to end, so you can be part of the whole process and hang out and chit chat with me. So tonight, you guys, we are continuing on the radio silence block from the Splendid Sampler to Quilt Along. We are getting there. So we have all of our pieces ready to go, and it's just time to sew it all together. Sew all the rows together, sew all the columns together. We're ready to go. It's all laid out. And so what we're going to do this webbing style of sewing these blocks together. And we've done this once before with a block like this, and it's time to do it again. I think it's just a really fast way of sewing blocks together. We're going to sew everything together before we press it all. It's just kind of a really kind of fun technique. So that's the plan for tonight, you guys. I'm going to flip you around and we will check it out. We'll see where we're at. All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Nice to see you all pop in again here. All right, this is where we left off. So you can kind of tell what's going on just a little bit. I mean, ours is a much more low contrast than this. So this dark blue, that's actually the swirl. So if you squint, you can kind of see it a little bit. But last night we finished all of our little half square triangle units and all our flying geese units. So we made all of these little babies and these guys as well. So now all we have left are our 5 rows of 5, it looks like. So here we go, our 5 pieces in the top row, and then we have the rows underneath as well. So what we're going to do is, first of all, I'm going to just make sure that everything is laid out properly. I always kind of get the triangles messed up, but all right, that's right. They all point inward there. We got the white star there. These guys are the right way, and these guys are the right way. Okay, good. I think we're all ready. So what I'm going to do is we are going to chain piece this together how we normally do, which is sewing, we'll sew 2 pieces together, and then before taking those 2 pieces off the machine, we'll sew another 2 pieces, another 2 pieces. So we'll have a long chain of several duos sewn together. So we're going to do that by column. So we're going to sew the first 2 columns together, and then we're going to take it off the machine, and we are not going to cut them apart. We're going to leave them in this weird dangly column, and then we're going to sew the next column on, and then the next column on, and the next column on. So it's kind of a weird, we're going to have like a weird webbing when we're done. But it's actually really fast and fun, and you get a sense of what it's all going to look like a lot quicker. So that's the plan. So I'm going to go the first row, or the first 2 columns, and then we'll see where we're at there. All right, so down to the machine. Leslie Ann, I did not swim, but I did go to the gym. So today I worked out upstairs. I did some weights and stuff instead. So I figured I'd kind of do swimming. If you guys are just joining me, I joined the Y a couple days ago. It's kind of like my first time joining the Y, and I figured out a way that I can get there every single day without having to have the willpower to do so. So it's kind of on the way home from work a little bit, so it works out just right. Like if I would have to get the willpower to go once I'm at home, that just wouldn't fly. So I managed to figure out how to go there just right after work, and it's just on the way home. And I've been swimming mostly. I used to swim in high school, and I just love it and haven't really done it much since. So that's been really fun. But I thought I should do some weights and some other stuff while I'm there as well. So today I did some weights in the kind of the workout area. Oh, and I used the rowing machine for the first time. That was kind of fun. That felt really good. I'll do that again for sure. But tomorrow and Friday, I'll be swimming again. Okay. Ooh, exciting, Jennifer. All right, so we're almost done with the first row, just 2 more. So I'm going in order from top to bottom. Like the top row all the way to the bottom row in these first 2 columns. And I'll show you what that looks like in a sec, because I'm going to take this off of the machine before starting the next row. So let's get our leader in here. Okay, so let's snip that off. This is our first 2 rows. I'm gonna hold it. I wanna keep it in the same direction, and I'll show you why in a sec here. So let's go back to our, shapes here. Okay, so these are the columns that we have left. And here is our first sewn row. So we're not going to snip these apart. We're going to leave them as is. But if we open them up, we can kind of see what we got going on here. So this is actually the first 2 columns ready to go. And instead of cutting them apart at this stage, I'm going to just keep sewing them together. So now I'm going to treat this as a column, and I'm going to just take the next column. So I'm going to take this piece and sew it together. And then I'll just grab the next piece and keep adding it on. So we're leaving this kind of chain going here. All right, so back over here. All right. So again, if I keep it in order with the top row on top, then we shouldn't mess it up. All right, first piece. Okay, let's open up this second one here. There we go. I'm gonna grab the next piece from our little setup. Keeping everything in order here. All right, flip. Oh, Leslie, you love this technique. Yeah, I've only done this a few times, but it's just amazing. It really is quick. And it's kind of like magic. It just keeps everything together. So I feel good that I'm not gonna be losing pieces and all that. And I can just continue right away. I don't have to lay it out again. I can just continue right away with the next row. All right, here we go. Oh, Leslie, this is great while doing a 9-patch quilt. Yeah, it's funny. We've been doing all this Splendid Sampler stuff for so long that, you know, the idea of a whole quilt that's just 9 blocks put together just is so like random sounding to me, because we've just been stuck on all these, well, we've been doing the Splendid Sampler, but then we did the Charming Chevrons quilt, and that was a ton of pieces. Actually, we did do this method for that project, and it worked great. Just kept everything together for us. All right, here we go. Snip. Okay, so again, I'm just keeping the top at the top. Man, we are getting these half square triangles here though for the leaders. I think we'll definitely on Finish It Friday work on that. All right, so now we got our 3 columns together. Look how it just squishes together. It's gonna be like this tall rectangle. Oh, it's coming together though. Look, you can start to see that star coming out. All right, let's see. I'm gonna just grab from the next row. And we're gonna just keep putting it on. The trick is I just gotta make sure that I'm not accidentally turning or flipping something. I just, if I set it up correctly from the get-go, we should be, like on my layout over here, then we should be okay. I'm kind of double checking along the way too. All right, open this up. All right, so one thing that we're not really paying attention to, like I maybe should, is where our flying geese, where those meet. I want to get a nice point in there. Like here, I made it maybe a little bit big, but I guess I'm not as worried about that. I'm more interested in just sewing. But here, now this time I should be able to aim for that point where all the fabrics meet, and then we should get a good point. I have a feeling that my scant 1/4 inch might be a little scant. I think I gotta move my business card here a little bit, but we're gonna just see how it goes. We'll see if this block ends up a hair bigger. It actually might be a good idea if it ends up just a tiny hair bigger, because when we quilt it, it'll pull in as I quilt, and then it'll end up being the right size maybe, I don't know. All right, last one for this column. We just have one more of these columns left. At that point, I will press each of these rows. I'm going to still keep it together, but I will press them, and then we will sew the rows together. And I'm never going to take these apart. It's always going to be together like this. All right, I need another set of leaders. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw in my in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group, I did purchase some block lock rulers, and oh gosh, what is that other one called? I forget, but it's another little helper for half square triangle units. So on the 5th, April 5th, that is the first Friday of the month, I think. On that day, we will test those out on all of these little guys that we're making. So it's just a tool. There's 2 different tools, and they're both supposed to be helpful for trimming down our half square triangle units. So they're all just the same size, and it's a lot faster than how we've been doing it by like trimming and then opening them up and doing a pile of trimming. I mean, there is still going to be an element of all that, but I think we're gonna have some helpers along the way. One tool allows us to skip opening it up completely. Oh, that's what they are, Amy. The clearly perfect trimmers. That's the other one. So that we actually leave it closed like this to trim, and then the other one, I think. So I was trying to figure out the block lock rulers because I've never used them before, but from what I can gather, and let me know if this is right, they're kind of like the add a quarter ruler, where you can just bump up the edge against a seam and cut, which sounds so silly. It sounds so like, well, why would I need to do that? That's just dumb. I can just measure. But man, with the add a quarter ruler for foundation paper piecing, that just really is a game changer. Just makes things so much easier and enjoyable. And if you can make any one of these steps a little more enjoyable, that's going to get it done. So I'm excited to try them both out. So that will be Finish It Friday. So that'll be the first Friday of April, which is Crazy Town coming up. Okay, 2 more pieces here. Yeah, this is going so quick this way. I mean, we already have, there's no going back and forth between the iron, like how we usually do. I mean, we're just kind of cranking it out, actually. All right, last one. Ugh, Easter is my favorite candy holiday. They got them jelly beans, and jelly beans are only good. The Brock's jelly beans are the best at Easter. They're not the same any other time of the year. Okay, so we are all sewn for this first part. I'm going to show you guys what we got going on here, and then we'll press. All right, so look how much this shrunk up horizontally, right? But look, there we are. It's kind of the tall version of our block here. Okay, so I'm just looking at the instructions now. So at this point, what I would normally do is I would press each of these rows in opposite directions because then all the seams can kind of lock together. But I'm looking at the instructions here. Oh, they do press them opposite. Oh, funny. Okay, so this is kind of okay. This is a little different than what I was thinking, but it's going to work great still. So typically I press all in opposite directions each row so I can match the seams up easier by nesting the seams. But we're still going to do that, but instead of pressing the whole row in one direction, we're going to switch off like these two are going to go outward and this is going to go outward. Then these are going to go inward and inward, outward, and outward, inward, inward, outward, outward. So we're still going to get the same effect, but it's going to work better with our blocks. So it's easiest to press blocks, the seam allowances, to the path of least resistance. So for example, these seams, they already want to lay outward like that. And that's because we have a sewn seam in here that makes it kind of stiff. And here it's just a piece of fabric. So there's nothing there. They want to go out to where it's just the piece of fabric. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to just keep following what that's like. And then it's the opposite here. So this is that single piece of fabric without any seams in it. So it's natural. It wants to naturally go inward here. And again here, look, it's naturally going outward. These are naturally going inward and these are naturally going outward. So we're just going to press them in that direction. Then all we have to do is fold them together and sew and then just keep going. We are never gonna disconnect this. So I love it like this, though. We get like this stretched out, like funny, crazy mirror version, like a circus mirror version of it. Okay, we gotta spend some time pressing now. You know what? I think I'm gonna bring up my pressing mat here. I don't always like to do this because it scares me with the heat by here, but this mat has been really good. So I'm gonna just flip this around. It's gonna be a little tricky pressing with it all connected like this, but we're gonna do it and it's gonna be just fine. Okay, so these go outward. Just gonna kind of give a little pull. Again, they naturally want to go that direction. And we'll flip this over and give it a good press on the front before we start sewing it together. There we go. Okay, next up. You know, it's kind of helpful when you're doing this webbing to leave a little bit more space than I did here. I just left my normal kind of sewing amount that I typically do when I chain sew things together. But I would not mind another 1/2 inch or so here. So it might be a good idea just to add a little bit more thread. I think it would make these parts easier. I know this is going so fast like this. Okay, we're just gonna get these kind of started. I think those look good, and then I'm gonna flip it to the front and I think we'll finish the job. Just want to make sure that I'm not getting any weird folds, so I'm just giving it a little tug. This is a big center area. So I'm just trying to go straight down too, because I am kind of pressing the rows that were before. So I don't want to just swipe and then like turn over all these seam allowances that we already did. Actually, for these ones, I'm going to flip it around so not everything's in my way. This cordless iron works so well for this. Okay, and the last one. Oop, got a piece turned underneath. So now all of our seams that we'll be sewing are going in opposite directions, which is exactly what we want. Each row is going opposite. Okay, let's flip that around. Okay, I did rotate it, so this is the top. Even though it doesn't really matter, it's the same top and bottom, but oh, cute, cute, cute. Look, it's coming together. All right, I'm gonna just give it another little press. Just kind of stretch it a little bit and make sure I didn't accidentally fold any seams under weird. It's looking cute. Okay, there we are. So all that's left is sewing all these rows together. And they're all connected already, which makes it real easy. So we're going to just flip the top over and we will sew that row, and then we'll take it off the machine, flip it over again, and then we'll keep doing that all the way to the bottom here. So with the seam allowances going in the opposite direction, how we are pressing it, now when we put it together, they will kind of nest together. So the fold makes a little bump there, and it makes a bump on the opposite side here. And if those just bump next to each other, they kind of almost lock in place like that. And that's what we want. That's what's going to give us a good point, or where all the points meet when we're done here. So I'm going to just go like that. And you know what? I think I'm going to clip all of these just so that they're all nice and good along the way. So let's see. I think I have some. You guys, my whole family, except for my dad and I, my immediate family, are all April birthdays and very close April birthdays. So yep, I agree. Lots of wonderful people have April birthdays. All right. So the same thing, these are going to bump together. I'm going to just clip everyone along the way. So we'll do this for each row. So this will be a little a little finicky, but no more finicky than it would normally be. We just got a whole pile of stuff hanging down there. All right, I got a few more. And this is the last one, this row. There we are. We'll see how we do each time. Clip. Okay, let's get back to the machine, and we will slide right down there. But yeah, this is going so fast using this method. I mean, really, really quickly. It would have probably taken us at least a good 20 minutes longer, I think, to finish this if we hadn't done this kind of webbing method. So for me and my husband's family, birthday months are April and September, except for neither of our birthdays are there, but all of his family is September birthdays. It's just me and my husband and my dad are the non-birthday month birthdays. All right. End of row 1. Ooh, machine is starting to eat it though. You know, I keep saying I'm gonna change the needle on this, but I never do. I need to. With these small pieces, the machine just wants to eat it. Oh, awesome, Julie! You just got a hedgehog kit from Joann's. Oh, you've decided to teach yourself embroidery. Awesome. Let me know if you have any questions for sure. And we'll definitely be doing more embroidery here in the evenings. So keep an eye out for that as well. But fun. You'll have to tell me, yeah, just keep me posted how it goes. All right, so this is that first nested seam, and look how perfect those seams line up. And not so perfect there. Ooh, that's a pretty good one. And that one's okay, but still pretty dang good still. So those are the first 2 rows done. So now I'm not gonna iron or anything yet. I'm gonna just flip the next row over. And again, I'm gonna just carefully go through and bump those folded edges together. Bump those folded, where the seam allowances make that fold and meet up. And we're gonna just leave that extra little thread in a loop right there. That's just gonna stay. We're never gonna even cut that. So we get to skip a whole pile of steps. Ooh man, these are close together. This is I can tell already that this is not gonna. We're not gonna have perfect little matching seams here. My one piece is so much smaller than the other piece. So somewhere along the way, my seam allowance sewing got not all that great, which happens a lot. That's one of the things that I tried to improve with the first Splendid Sampler project, and I think I just gotta not get lazy with it for this Splendid Sampler. Ooh, there's a lot of fabric there. That's a bulky little bit. Okay, next row is together. Line up that starting point. All right, I'm gonna get my stiletto in here again. I like using the stiletto just to kind of hold that same spot that the clip was at. It's kind of like a pin. And my stilettos are just, I'm using turkey lacers. It's just a turkey lacer with some beads glued onto it. But I love it. It's just the right size. And I can just hold down that edge, or that point. Oh, here's an opportunity. We got a flying geese unit. So if I aim where these seams cross, then I should get a good point there. And here's another bit. And I'm going to just kind of line up these edges. Okay, let's see how we did on this row. Let's get another leader happening here. For my little basket. Gosh, I think we're going to actually have to cut some more of these leaders. So a couple Finish It Fridays, which is the first Friday of the month. We cut all these squares out so I could use them as leaders like this. I'm almost done with all of those. I feel like we cut a ton and we've barely, I don't know, I guess we've been sewing a lot, but holy cow, I'm totally using them up. So I'm hoping that we can make, I don't know, maybe this will even end up being a whole quilt or something. This is just recycled clothing that I cut into squares, and we're gonna make them into a whole pile of half square triangles. And I'm telling you, I'm getting low almost. Crazy. All right, let's check it out. Okay, that's a good looking seam. This diagonal even is going right up in there. That one's not too bad, just a hair off. That's better than I thought it was gonna be. Ooh, these two are two good looking ones there. All right, woohoo. Okay, I think I'm gonna actually flip around now and go from the bottom to the top, just because these smaller strips are easier to work with than flopping this whole big giant piece over and matching it up. So I'm going to flip this row over and sew these, and then we'll have a row of 3 and a row of 2 that will flip over, and I think that'll make it a little bit more manageable. And then all we have to do is just press this thing really quick. So easy and quick using this this webbing style. I just like it because I don't have to think as much about if I got my pieces right. All I have to do is lay them out beforehand, and that's it. As long as I have that grid of them all laid out, I can just transfer it and right to the next one and sew them all together. You guys, I went for a walk outside today. It was in the 60s, if you can believe that. Oh my gosh. You guys, it was just like a week ago or 2 weeks ago that it was negative a bajillion outside, and I just couldn't deal with it. And now, oh, we got a 60-degree day, which means that soon we're gonna have 70-degree days, and that'll be just the best. I cannot wait. I went for a walk outside. I actually came home from the gym, which was a feat in itself that I'm going to the gym now. And then I came home and I topped it off with a little walk around the neighborhood. Ugh, it felt so good. I gotta suck up these days when I can. All right, right through the end. Okay, and I need another leader, it looks like. Geez, see, like, that's what I'm saying. I'm cruising through these. I actually only have 2, this one and 1 more of this fabric before my stack goes into a whole new different color. I don't actually mind it when it gets hot. I mean, it gets hot and muggy and kind of horrible here too. But yes, when everything is just starting to warm up, oh, it's just the best. I think spring is my favorite season. All right. You know, the other thing about doing this webbing style, there's no risk at accidentally sewing a row upside down. You know, like if I accidentally had flipped this row and sewed it to this one, so it was upside down, there's no risk because it's all connected. You can't, you know, I couldn't make it wrong if I wanted to, really. So let's flip this over. Our last row. Again, I'm gonna bump these seams together. Gosh, this really did go fast. Kind of like magic. I love all these little magic tricks that we get to play with here. That's what I'm hoping with these new tools, that these new, that block lock ruler and, oh gosh, I forgot what it was called again, the easy piecing something, or easy cutter, I don't know, I don't remember again. Well, I'll have it in the mail soon and then it'll be in front of me. But those two half square triangle helpers, I'm hoping that just is awesome because I love half square triangles. And, but yeah, there's a lot of little steps to them, aren't there? All the magic tricks. We will learn all the magic tricks here in the evening. So you can go home and impress all your friends. All right. Yeah, this is a really beautiful block. It's kind of blocks like this that I'm like, oh man, I wish I did use higher contrast fabric, like a really light fabric and a really dark fabric, because the example in the book is so pretty with that much contrast in the value of the colors. But we're gonna get that same effect just on a paler spectrum, I suppose. All right, here we are. I'm gonna get zoomed over here and then we'll take a look at it. And then we just have to give it that final press. Ooh, and then I'm gonna have to measure it as well. Just see how far off we are. All right, let's pop it open. Oh my gosh, but look how much it shrunk again. You know, it was this long and just getting the seams. Oh, I think you can totally see it. It's subtle. I mean, obviously, it's definitely more subtle than the example, but I think because we use this white, everything's gonna pop out against the white. So I think we still get this star effect happening. And then we just have these little pale edges here, which I think are really sweet. So it's definitely all about that light to dark here, I think. Cute. Okay, so let's just give it a press, and then we'll measure it just because I like to see where we're at. I'm going to press it again up here, I think. Let's see, are there any pressing? Okay, so again, it's kind of, instead of pressing all one direction, the designer, Anne-Marie Chaney, has us pressing to the path of least resistance again. So these kind of want to go outward like this, these two rows, and these want to go outward as well. So we're going to just keep up with that outward pressing, which is kind of neat. I haven't really thought about pressing like that before. I always just go one way or the other way. And this is smart. I like it. And it's not pressing open. I don't especially like pressing open. It's just pressing in the direction that they want to go naturally. I kind of like that. And they want to go naturally to the spot with the least amount of seams in it. All right, so I'm going to just kind of give this a little stretch as I go. And I'm not using steam or anything. I suppose that would stretch it out a bit more. Oh, it's pretty. Oh, I'm so happy that we're making a lot of these pieced blocks again. They are looking so fun. So we'll pick out another pieced block to do next because I'm just really liking them. All right, I think that's about all. We'll get it pressed right now. But oh, it's so pretty. Here, let me get you guys a little straighter on so you can see. But yeah, I think these swirls were a good pick too. It's just a little bit extra interest in there. Oh, I love it. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna flip you around, and that is gonna be that for now. Terry, I think it depends on the fabric. Why I don't always steam. I used to steam a lot, but I don't as much anymore because it can distort what you're working on. Oh, I didn't measure this. You guys, we should measure quick. Here, I'm going to flip you guys back around. All right. Gotta measure. Hold on. Ugh. Got you guys stuck here. Okay. Yours says, Leslie, you said yours was a little bit bigger, but you don't want to cut the points. I can tell mine's a little warped, but, you know, we'll figure that out. All right, mine's pretty good, except for this spot where it got a little squished in. If I just give it a little tug, I think we'll be okay. Ooh, that's promising. Okay, this is actually probably my most on block that I've had in a while. So what that means to me is that my seam allowance that I'm using right now, however I'm doing it, is pretty good. Because with all of these tiny pieces put together, if you're making your seam allowance too big, then this will be much smaller than what it needs to be. But if you're doing it too scant, like if you're making your seam allowances too little, then this will be bigger than it needs to be. But mine's pretty good right on. So you know what? I thought I was making them too small, the seam allowances. I'm going to keep them just as is because it looks just about right. Okay, well that was an extra bonus. All right, now I'll flip you guys around and show you. Okay, so I am way happy about that. All right, there we go. So here we are. Oh, from far away, you can totally see the contrast, I think. Again, it's very pale, obviously. It's subtle, but that's what I was trying to do with this quilt. A little bit more subtle. I've been doing a lot of bright, bold colored quilts lately, and I need to switch it up. Let's do the challenge of just a pale quilt. Oh, the swirls are fun. I love it. Done. Another one. We can check off the list, you guys. Slowly making it through this book. But awesome, you guys. Thanks again for joining me. I'll get this up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies if you wanted to see how we did this webbing style of sewing all of our pieces together. Again, oh my God, I don't know if I'm gonna ever do it any other way. It's so fast and easy, and it just takes some pressure off of your brain of having to make sure it's the right way or whatever. It's just all together in the right direction. It's just held there for you, which is great. So awesome, and I will see you guys tomorrow here on Thursday at the Penguin and Fish page here at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. So thanks again, you guys. Have a fabulous night. Goodbye.